You finally found the perfect car in racing blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense. Keep going. More. No, stop!
Well, good afternoon, Raider Nation. I want to welcome you to the second edition of the Coaches Show of the fifth week of the season. The Raiders stand at 2-1 as we go into homecoming week. We're just about over with. Yeah, you can see some of my hoopla. They were kind of laughing at me, wondering if I was going to keep this garb on, different colors for Crazy Red and White Day. We try to do our part as teachers. Of course, there's an incentive. They have last year they started a little competition between the different divisions from social studies to math to our department to there's a free meal basically. And we'll do anything for a free meal, right?
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a great week overall. I think the kids have really enjoyed the homecoming festivities. Great job. I want to commend Principal Charlie Powell and our assistant principals Clint Johnson and Miss Amy Livingston. They've done a great job coordinating everything and just making everything go pretty smooth. I think the kids have enjoyed it, and we've still been able to function, as a school as well. But everything leads to Friday night for homecoming, and we're going to talk about that specifically in just a moment. You might recognize Coach Matt Wilson, offensive coordinator for the Red Raiders. He was with us last week in our first show. Got a new guy here, and he's not new to Bacon County. He's been here a couple years, but might be new to some of you. I said last week that you see these guys going up and down on the sidelines and coaching up our kids, but you may not know much about them personally. So I'm going to ask Coach Wilder just tell us a little bit about himself and where he's from, and from that point to where he is today.
My name is Austin Wilder. I'm originally from Coffee County, Douglas, Georgia. That's where I went to high school, where I played high school football, ran track a little bit. After high school, I ended up going to Shorter University, played 2 seasons there, and then transferred to Faulkner University in Montgomery, Alabama. After that, had a little stint with the CFL in Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Lasted about a month, but my running joke is that The Rock left Canada with $7 in his pocket. I left with 10.
Hey.
So, but after football was over with, I started off at Georgia Southern University, helping out with the Nickels and as a defensive intern. After that, it was a short spell there. That season didn't go as well as we thought it was, so ended up helping out a little bit with Georgia in that national championship year, and then helping out at Prince Avenue Christian, where I first started my high school coaching career up in Bogart, Georgia. Spent a season there, and then after that, went to South Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina, at T.L. Hanna High School. The movie Radio,
Yep.
If you've seen that movie, it's been there. That was where it was filmed and what the story's about. After that, I was there. I was at Prince Avenue as a coach, special teams coordinator, secondary coach. At T.L. Hanna, I was the pass game coordinator and outside linebackers coach. And then after T.L. Hanna, I left and went to Ashburn, Georgia, a small town of Ashburn, Georgia, at Turner County High School, and was the defensive coordinator there, assistant head coach, and linebackers coach. And then after that, COVID hit, and then we ended up venturing over to old Jessup, Georgia, at Wayne County High School, right up the road, and was a special teams coordinator there and secondary coach for 2 years, also helping out with recruiting. And now I'm here. First year was last year. Special teams coordinator and linebackers coach, and helps out with recruiting a lot. So,
Wow, that's a resume, and you don't seem like an older fella.
I got gray hair, but I'm not that old.
Yeah, man, and then you threw in some things there that I had no idea as well. A lot of good experience and a lot of great programs. And when you normally in most professional positions, the fewer jobs that you've been at, the better. But that's not necessarily the case in coaching. People leave for different reasons. Sometimes you choose to, sometimes you don't. But when you're afforded the opportunity to go somewhere else and learn from someone else in a different, whether it's a position, a coaching position on the field, And then you've got some coordinator experience and assistant head coach experience there at Turner. And again, that's quite a resume, and that's what I want folks to understand, that that's just more experience that this young man brings to our squad. And I know everything has been positive that I've heard from on the field, but more importantly in the classroom as he walks the halls and helps to groom these young men. And that's, again, that's where it starts. We talk football on this show, that's what it's about, but ultimately we want these guys to hold their heads up high, do well in the classroom, behave, and make great men in our community or whatever community they decide to fulfill their goals and their dreams. So, Coach, appreciate that. Let me ask you something. You didn't. Yeah, it's right here. You didn't mention. You mentioned the special teams coordinator, linebackers coach, and maybe you said something about recruiting. How important is recruiting now with high school football in general, and for programs like our size?
I think it's huge. I think it's huge. It's the little thing that gets overlooked, I think, a lot of time. And the biggest thing is getting these kids involved in camps, getting involved on the internet. Twitter's a big thing nowadays in recruiting. Showing that huddle film on Twitter. Us as coaches helping them out by retweeting it or sending it out to a coach. And the thing is, coaches nowadays, they look on that. They look on Twitter a lot. That's what recruiting has turned into. Used to be, they used to have to physically come see you and look at you and everything, watch a VCR tape.
Yeah.
But now it's they can look on their phone while they're on a plane going somewhere to games. I remember when my time at Georgia Southern, we would be watching somebody's highlight tape on the way to practice.
Right.
Just seeing what we could get out of it for the little short time we could watch it. But recruiting nowadays is, I would think, it's a lot easier to be seen just because of the technology we have and social media. But, that's a really good thing. Yeah. That means you have more opportunity at the end of the day, and that's what we want
to expose our kids. Yeah,
that's what we want for our kids, being able to expose guys that those North Georgia college teams or just North Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, get those guys recruited by those teams. Because, we got the Georgia Southerns of the world, we got the, Alabama, the Auburns and everything like that. But then you got the NAIA schools that I've played at, that is high level football, at its finest. And you got Division II, and you got 1AA, you got D3. I mean, you can, whatever it is, my firm belief is that there's a college for everybody.
Man.
That all you have to do is just put forth the effort to find that college for that kid.
That's awesome for you to say that, and I'm as guilty as the next. When I sit down and watch college football, it's typically Division I, it's Power 5, it's SEC, ACC matchups, and we're seeing these tremendous athletes where they star from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but you just said it. There's so many other colleges that will provide our boys an education, along with them getting to play on the field. Outside of these Division I, what we would call Division II, Division III, the NAIA colleges that, again, allow our kids to compete and, again, provide them an opportunity to gain an education for minimal value. I know some offer different types of scholarships and this, that, and the other, but that's great. That's great.
And it's imperative, as he says, it's on social media now, and it's imperative for a small school like Bacon to get that exposure. And he does a great job, and we all work together at getting it. Like, this is mid-season. This about to be mid-season game. We're gonna make mid-season highlights, and like he said, it's easy for to overlook a small school, but we got kids making plays.
That's right.
And we know what coaches look for.
That's right.
So they'll have the highlights. We make the highlight tape, and we know what they will be an eye popper, and say, oh shoot, we better go to Bacon now. And that's just what we're doing. And we got coaches' phone numbers, and we get them out there.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be on. We gonna get them out. We gonna get our kids out there. It doesn't matter how small the school is, and that's just imperative to us. It really is, because we're good enough.
It's only been just been 12 to 13 years ago, where I remember when I first started working with the football program when I was hired at the high school 15 years ago, and we started videoing and helping with this and that and the other. Man, I was burning things to DVD, and coaches were having to meet coaches 45 miles away, the next Saturday morning or late Friday night, trading film. But How big an impact is, tell our watchers, listeners, and what Huddle is and what type of avenue, what medium it provides for our kids.
Huddle is the platform we use to film games, and we get games sent to us. Like Mr. Johnson just said, you know, I remember when I was in high school going with Coach Eldridge, the Berrien County head coach, to go meet another coach and his player to do a VCR tape. Now it's not. It's as simple as you ask for a request, they send it to us, and then we're able to break down the film quick and not have to wait for something to download, DVD to download or anything like that. But also it allows kids that are, you know, nowadays our kids are very individualized and know how to use technology and stuff like that. I can tell you right now, when Huddle first came out and I was coaching, I had no clue how to figure it out because I had done XOs, which is like Excel spreadsheet, you know. But Huddle is an easy way for our kids to be able to go through, watch the film on their own, and we share film with them all the time of the opponent practice and everything like that. That way they can watch themselves and know exactly, and we end up putting notes on there and stuff like that too for them to watch. But it's easy for them to know about as much as we know when they come in the next day for practice. And they may see something, you know, Rashid Slade does a good job. He told me one time, hey coach, when that fullback does this, you know, he's doing this, and lo and behold, me and him look at it, and that's right. Some little stuff that coaches
tendencies,
little things that maybe I may miss or any coach may miss, they see it, but they're going to be out there on the field, but we like to prepare them as much as we can going into it. But Huddle allows them to make their highlight, you know, pick their highlights out of the tape that we send them from the game. And, you know, we go through and review it and make sure they're the right highlights and everything like that. You know, dragging a guy down 20 yards downfield isn't pretty much a highlight.
Right.
But a big hit, an interception or something like that is a highlight that's going to pop up. And, you know, highlights, you know, if we allow kids to make the highlights, they would be about 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
You know, as a college coach, they're only watching the first 2 minutes of it.
That's right.
So, you know, your midseason highlight needs to be 2 minutes and 30 seconds long at the max. And it needs to express how aggressive you are, how explosive you are, how versatile you are. Everything like that can be done easily through Huddle.
Yeah.
And it's a big thing to have as a high school coach and as an athlete in general.
And that's www.hudl.com. You can go and just check that out. You have to have an account, an official account, to go in and watch, you know, certain types of things, but you can pull up certain highlights from different ones and search kids and watch their stuff that they produce. So it's a real neat website. Like he said, it's a platform. Everything's online, digital. You know, kids can watch it, and the whole team can go on their phone and at the same time watch the same film. And before, you just have 1 or 2 copies of a DVD. You was watching it on TV, and everybody's in the classroom, and it was crazy. So, but on top of the film study, it's the recruiting, I think, is the highlight of that thing. And I just wish I had come up with it 15 years ago. You know? But anyway, that's specific. And I failed to mention our sponsors, and which is a ton of people, and you'll see those on some commercials I'll drop in. I don't like to waste the coach's time, especially being recording on a Friday. You'll see these sponsors, but their generous donations to the Touchdown Club helps to fund and helps to pay for that Huddle program, because nothing's free these days, and it's not cheap, but it is a wonderful source for not only our coaches but for our kids too. So I just wanted to get that out there. Well, guys, we celebrated another victory last weekend. That was a big victory. Big difference going 1-2 and 2-1. Man, that just sounds great. It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? So we traveled over to Atco last week, a short drive, actually our shortest drive this year for an away game, and had a great crowd. Just go ahead. The band was awesome. Cheerleading was great. But man, once again, our Red Raiders, they showed up. And defensively, offensively. So I'm going to just give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the offensive successes that we showed against Atco, Coach Matt.
No problem. We talked about execution. Now this week against Atco, or last week against Atco, we executed. The biggest thing, our problem is our turnovers now. So once we can eliminate, so we're executing. Now let's get the turnover. And, you know, offense is a daily progression. So we were happy about execution. We scored on the first drive, which is huge. Our first drive, that just gets the momentum going, and it helps the defense start. You know, everybody. It always helps when you score on your first drive. that helps. It's just we got to start eliminating turnovers. But as far as and I bound we didn't even punt Friday, but the turnovers can stop you and
That's
stuff
right.
like that. But it's always good not to punt. Probably could have put some more points on the board, but we're
Sure.
we're gonna keep progressing. And the boys are bought in. Like I said, it's clicking now. We know the offense now. Now it's just getting everybody getting the right people to ball, block, staying on blocks, little just executions. That's all offense is. But we were happy with them, and we told them it's just a daily thing.
Yeah.
And now we got another team. Just execute. They know who to block, do it, run right, and everybody's will be good.
That's right. That's
So
right.
offense, we're good. We're just keep going. Daily process.
And once again, our defense started off the game with a 3 and out. And the guys are flying around. I know you're the linebackers coach. You're just making tackles and just playing aggressive. Tell us a little bit about that scheme and how the successes that you saw.
Defensively, I mean, it's all like you said. It's always good to start off with 3 and out, right off the huff. Just get it out of the way, get the nerves out of you. But defensively, last week, I mean, it was all about who was going to be bigger in the trenches. And our D line played well, our linebackers played well, and our secondary came up and tackled. This defense this year is hungry, and they take the D line and linebackers really take people running the ball on them personal. We've done a great job of stopping the run and making them throw and making teams play behind the sticks, and that's what we did Friday. We had our one little slip up, got them 3 points. We wanted to shut out. We were that close. We're that close to it, and but we were flying around being aggressive, and that's what you have to do against teams that run that type of offense. And you just really have to be aggressive on the run, and when they take their shot, we got to make sure they don't get that. And but defensively, I'm really proud of D-line, linebackers, and secondary, all 3 levels. And we didn't have to punt, so that helped us out a lot. It helps me out a lot, so I get to stay on my own side.
Yeah, that's one of the scariest plays. Punts and kickoffs are still the scariest plays in football.
It is.
Number one, well, 2 things. Injury is one, and then but the biggest one is the potential for turnover.
Oh, yes, the
Things-
momentum
more
of the
can go
game.
wrong, with that than
Especially special teams, third phase of the game.
Yeah.
There's 3 phase. Everybody think offense do. No, special teams can win or lose you a game.
You're exactly right.
Every Friday night.
And it's not just kickoffs and punts, it's extra point attempts. They come up huge in close anticipated games. Field goal attempts. I tell you, we got a kid that's he's been real impressive. He's got a good, I think he missed a field goal attempt the other night, but what was it? Did we have a penalty and had to back
He
it
made
up
the-
a couple
he
more
made
yards?
it.
Made the first one.
But it was flagged.
Yeah, it was flagged. But man, I think it was 5, 6 for 6. How many touchdowns we scored? He made all his extra points.
Yes.
He was really strong. So we're thankful to have a kid that can kick it like that. So I lost my train of thought. But again, I thought the defense played well, and I know Thad last week said that y'all's goal is shutouts. And that's I think that's great. And take it personal. These guys, and I think that's the quickest way for these guys to stay aggressive and to play for one another. And again, that's a cool thing to see. Now we got a little bit different monster this week. The Clinch County, they are perennial power in Georgia, South Georgia particularly, being one of the smaller schools in the state, literally in number. It seems like every year, man, they just cranking out 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that are just, every year they're saying, man, this guy here may be the best athlete we've ever had at Clinch County. I'm like, golly, are you kidding me? And I wrote down some things because you might not want to hear it because you've been talking about it and seeing the numbers, but the elephant in the room is Mr. Bell, and this is another Bell, and I was told, and can it be confirmed, that he has ties to Bacon County as well? Someone told me he had ties to Bacon County, some of the Bells here. Now, I don't want to say who told me that, but I know we've had some Bell boys that were really good athletes, and their dad played for Bacon County, and they had some success over in Pierce. But this kid last week, I'm going to put a plug in for this email that I get every morning. It's called Georgia High School Football Daily. Georgia High School Football Daily. They send you an email every day of the week, just giving you some updates on Georgia high school football. But he was top 5, 279 total yards by himself, 160 rushing, 100 receiving, and 119 return. Kind of looks like a Mr. Everything to me. This is number 11 on the field. Is that correct?
11.
Now I will say I watched a little bit of film. The longest rush that he had, it's like he ran in there and everybody kind of stopped. I think they almost thought maybe the play was over because he shot out of there like a cannon and nobody knew where he was until after the fact. So that play might have been a little dud. That probably padded his stats a little bit, but I'm not taking anything away from the young man's athleticism and obviously his heart and you know, to be able to put up these types of numbers. And it's not just him. Again, they come with a culture. They come with that's a winning culture. And that's where we're trying to get our boys, and that's the mentality and attitude.
Yeah, Clinch has a lot of tradition, Brent. They just have it, and I'll be honest. You talk about high school football in Georgia. You don't get too far in that conversation without talking about Clinch. That's just the bottom line. You don't get too far without talking about Clinch. They got tradition. They know how to win. But I'll be honest, that we want to play a team like that because our region, you got to be ready for it. So same thing in our region. So let's go ahead and get ready for it. And let's see, we're excited. We want to see what our boys are made of tonight. So we're excited about it.
Well,
we want to be talked about too.
That's exactly right. And we've got the size, some size that we haven't had across the board in years, and we've got quite a bit of athleticism. And folks, if y'all haven't come out and watched our Raiders, you'll see it. And if you've been watching online with our broadcast, that's great. But we want you to come out tonight and watch these guys on the field and how they perform up front, offensive line, defensive line, because that's where it starts. That's where it starts. At every level, high school, college, pros. And then you got some athletes, some guys going to run around a little bit with that ball, and we got a couple guys that can do that too. But tell us, well, we'll start with defense. What type of, you had to re-scheme for a gentleman like that, or is it it's just more fundamental stuff where you just got to tackle a guy with football?
Well, I mean, it was really good that we played Atkinson County last week because they run the same offense as Clinch County.
Okay.
So just have a different athlete in the backfield. And he lines up in different spots that could have telltale signs. And our kids do a good job of alerting where he's at. But, the biggest thing is being the aggression that was brought last week with Atkinson County has to be matched and surpassed this week. The level of competitiveness is way higher. And so you have to be aggressive on run, be aggressive on the run, bottle them up, make sure you don't get out, and get to the ball is the biggest thing, and just attack everything that moves, literally, and just get them on the ground. And defensively, I mean, we really don't have to really change anything. It's just more about the mindset. Atkinson County is over with, and Clinch County is not Atkinson County.
That's right.
So the aggression has to be up, and heightened awareness needs to be up where 11's at all times and what he can do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's going to be, whether a team has an athlete like that or not, there's going to be plays where something bad's going to happen. Mm-hmm. On offense and on defense. Mm-hmm. He's going to get some yards. He's going to get some of his. It's about containing. It's about, again, when you have a chance to make a play, you make it. Don't let him continue to roll around, run around you and run through you and that sort of thing. And then if that big play does happen, you strap them back on, you get back out there, back on offense, and you take advantage of that. Anything on offense that
same thing offensively. ATCO ran the same defense that Clinch runs, so we've already seen get an extra week. Our biggest, like I said, is execution. And this week, like last 2 weeks, we've had some good. We'll have a 30-yard run and a 40 because we got some good athletes to run.
Right.
This week we need to be good. Okay, with 5-yard runs and another 5 and another 5 and just keep
working the clock.
Exactly, working that clock and keep 11 over there.
That's right.
And and just that could help too.
Sure.
So that's really what we need. If we're good with that, and instead of the big, always now we can have
we pop one.
Yeah, we can have
absolutely.
them. But we need to be okay with 4 and 5 yards, 3, 4, 5 yards, and keep going and keep trying to wear them out a little bit. And that's what we've told them. Just you got to be good, but you got to execute. That means more plays.
That's right.
That means more plays to get to the end zone instead of one play, your touchdown. It means boom, 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 and once again, execution. And like you said, our O-line's getting better and better. Like I told you, we're a little young. Now we do have a heavy package where we do put some more seniors in there, and we do the heavy package with that too. So we got a lot of linemen, I'll be honest, and they're all working together. And that's the thing I like O-line. On offense, I'm telling you, if offense one person messes up, the whole play is dead. And and they can see it too. And they see it in practice, like one person, it don't matter if he's way over there, that guy's coming in, he's gonna make the tackle. Yeah. So that's the best part about offense. If it goes right, that means all 11 did their job. Yeah. So and it's no different. It's same thing. We're gonna run the ball, try to set up play action. Same thing. It's the same thing. We just got to be good with 5-yard gains and be able to sustain drives. How about that? And that's the plan.
Well, sometimes you say the best offense is a good defense, and part of that is keeping the other offense off the field.
Indeed.
And trying to put some points on the board
Yes, sir.
at the same time. Well, guys, I appreciate you joining us today. We was going to try to keep it short and sweet. It's been a crazy week. We tried to get it in yesterday, but they got stuff they got to do. Expecting a little more rain this afternoon, I think, after lunch. So we're going to have to, I don't know. The game's going to happen. Rain's supposed to stop between 5 and 6:30 or something like that. But we want to invite you out. We'll get this show posted here in just a little while. I want to invite you out tonight for homecoming. We'll do the whole court thing before the game. That starts at 7. Kickoff's at 7:30. So we encourage you to come out. Bring an umbrella just in case. Maybe bring your little towel to wipe the seat off. But we want you in the stands supporting our Red Raiders, supporting those cheerleaders that are there cheering on, supporting the band, 120 strong. They're going to have their show at halftime. That's always a treat as well. So again, homecoming is pretty special. I had a kid ask me just yesterday, and he had just moved in from South Carolina just a few weeks ago. And South Carolina's a southern state, and I figured they might have some traditions like us. He said, "Do y'all do this every year?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "This is crazy." And it is. We really go way out. We had a pep rally this morning. It went great. And so again, we're ready I think we're going to be ready for the Panthers tonight. And so I think we're going to have the coaches staff's done a great job. Sounds like it's been a good 2 weeks for preparation because of the offensive defenses that we're going to be facing. So we just encourage you to come out and support. Thank you. Special thank you to all the sponsors, specifically Bennett Johnson Insurance, Burt CPAs, Code Electric and Plumbing Supply, and Family Vision Care for being sponsors of the Coach Show and as well as the football season. So again, on behalf of myself, your host Brent Johnson, Offensive Coordinator Coach Matt Wilson, Linebackers Coach and Recruiting Coordinator Coach Austin Wilder. Thank you for joining us.